morning, everyone. Today I am sharing with you one of my daughter's recipes. She was nice enough to make this video for me to put on my channel, and it's very easy, but you know what? It's very delicious. She's not as good as I am yet, but she's getting there. No, I'm just joking around, guys. She's really good at what she does, and her pumpkin banana bread is something that you must try. So sit back, enjoy. The video is pretty much self-explanatory. She does everything by hand, and it just comes out perfect. You do need your bananas to be spotted. That gives the sweetness to this bread. She does put a little bit of maple syrup, you will see, but there's no white sugars in this recipe. Just simply wholesome and delicious. So guys, sit back and enjoy while she makes this bread for you and shows you how easy it is to make something delicious, healthy, and it takes really no time at all. But like I said, she was taking her time making it for the video, but otherwise you could whip this up in like 10 minutes. So enjoy the recipe, guys, and I'll see you in a little bit. She kind of laughed at herself. She goes, "Ma, I can't believe I squished a banana in a measuring cup." But she basically wanted to show you that you need 1 full cup of banana mashed. You don't want this as a puree, but you want it nice and mashed. And so that would be 2 bananas, and it fits the whole cup for you. But otherwise, you can mash this in a plate. Oh. As you can see, she still has tiny little bits to it. It's not completely creamy, but you can make it creamier if you want. That's really up to you. But we kind of mash it with a fork, and we don't over mash the banana. Okay, so to the banana, she's adding some pumpkin. This is fresh pumpkin that we cooked. You could either steam it. I prefer the steaming method. This way it doesn't hold all that extra water. If you would submerge your pumpkin in water, but you can do it either way. You can cook your pumpkin either in water or you can steam your pumpkin. But you do need some pumpkin. Not much, because the banana is very moist. You don't need too much pumpkin in this recipe, but you do need a little bit, and it also adds a nice pumpkin flavor. And as you can see, she's adding, rather than adding white sugar, which is really not good for you. I mean, any sugar really is not that great for us, but if you want to have something sweet, a little bit of maple. We're using a very dark amber maple. That's the best for you, by the way, even for your health. If you're going to use it, use the dark maple. It just has a nice smoky taste to it also. Really good, and it goes great in this bread. And I'm so grateful that she made this recipe for my channel. She didn't have to. She could have put it on hers. She does want to start her channel again, but she's been very busy. So I am very grateful that she is sharing this with all of you. We are using a little bit of olive oil in this recipe, but again, you don't have to. But usually cakes, if you don't put a little bit of fat in it, it tends to stick on you. So just a little bit of olive oil, but you can replace that oil with any type of oil you have at home. I have to try. I'm going to have to try making this one recipe without the fat. But like I said, this is how she makes it, and this is how she's sharing her recipe with you. So I'm not going to complain, right, guys? And it's so good. And if you're going to eat some, you're not going to eat the whole cake, right? You're just going to have a little bit. We are using organic flour. We don't use bleached flour. We're staying away from anything bleached. Where this is a treat for us. Anytime we make cakes, it really is a treat for us because we don't have it often. So if I'm going to have it, I'm going to have organic, and it's going to be unbleached for sure. You can use whole wheat. That's really up to you. I also have whole wheat in the pantry, but my daughter decided she wants to use the unbleached flour, the plain flour. A little bit of salt, not that much. Cinnamon, of course. What's a beautiful pumpkin banana bread without cinnamon, right? Nutmeg and cloves, of course. That always goes great when you're making a nice banana bread or a pumpkin bread. Those spices are great for the holidays. This is great if you would make it for Thanksgiving, or if you want to make it for Christmas, or just make it anytime you feel like having some bread. It's so good. We always keep pumpkin in the freezer, so even when the season's not here, we always get to enjoy some delicious pumpkin soup because we love it so much. Okay, so again, this is very self-explanatory. She's just mixing up all her ingredients. She doesn't use any beater for this, or she doesn't use any type of machine. She just uses a fork, a little bit of power in her arm. You don't even have to overbeat this, because the less you beat it, the better it is, I find, anyhow. It's like when you're making muffins. You don't want to overbeat your muffins. You want to kind of rough beat. You don't want to over cream the batter. Very, very delicious cake. That I could tell you. We are using some yummy pumpkin seeds in this recipe. But if you don't have pumpkin, you can use sunflower seeds. But since we put pumpkin into the cake, into the batter, she wanted to put some pumpkin seed. And she just grabbed a nice big handful of this and just add them to your recipe. Now, if you really want to go the longer route, you can even sprout these before you put them in. That is really up to you. This cake goes down our bellies so fast, we don't even notice if it was sprouted or not. It's just good. But you can sprout your seeds if you want to, of course. We're using a cast iron because we love baking in cast iron. She's using a little bit of vegan fat, which is not the base cell. She's using Earth Balance. but really, really simple. It doesn't take much. She doesn't even line the cast iron. And when you'll see that when she pulls it out, it comes out really clean. Doesn't really make a mess at all. Again, because there is fat in this recipe, it's easier for the cake to slide out. But like I said, you could try making it without the fat and see how that works for you. Maybe you would need to line it with some wax paper, but you can try that. I will try it myself next time to see how it works out. But we've always used a little bit, not a lot, but we've always used a little bit of fat when we bake. And it just makes it easy to release it. And like I said, we don't eat it that often for us to worry about it. We use very little, especially my daughter. My daughter uses very little fats in her recipes. We're using a little bit, she's using a little bit of brown sugar. What this really does is by adding any kind of sugar on top, it gives it a nice crust. It gives it a nice crunchy crust. I'll be making a glaze later on, but you really don't have to even glaze this cake because the crust is so beautiful and it's so crunchy and sweet. But you don't have to. Again, really, it's up to you if you want to add that on top. We always do add some sugar on top of our cakes, but like I said, it's up to you. You don't have to. She's cutting it while it's still hot because my husband can't resist to have a piece of hot one. But we always recommend to wait a bit to cool off so the dough inside doesn't overstick on you. But it was so delicious that I think half the cake was gone as soon as she pulled it out of the oven. So here I am. I'm going to make a nice salty, smoky maple glaze for you guys. And it's very simple. Do I have measurements for this? Not really. I use some powdered sugar. Yes, unfortunately, if you want to glaze, you got to use some kind of sugar, the way I know how to make it anyhow. I'll probably try and figure something out, maybe with cashews next time. But I am making glaze, and all I'm doing is using powdered sugar and a little bit of maple. I use a little bit at a time, and if I need extra, I add extra. You just want to know how thick you want that glaze. But it's very simple to use and very simple to make. So simply a little bit of powdered sugar and maple, and you get a delicious maple glaze. Here we go. You're going to see that I'll be adding some smoked salt, and that just does it. It's the Maldon smoked salt. It's like diamonds. It holds its shape no matter where you put it. It doesn't like disintegrate in whatever mixture you have. It stays like crystals. And so when you have this, you get that little punch of salt. You just get that little punch of salt in your mouth every once in a while, and it's just so simply delicious. It's so good. You have to try it. It's not cheap, but you have to try that salt. A little bit of, my husband wanted a little bit of fat on his slice. We're using the earth balance, and just drizzle as much or as little glaze you want on top. You can even wait till it kind of cools off, or the glaze gets a little thicker, and then you could just spread it like a butter. So you can leave out the butter and just use the maple, but because my husband loves his maple, he loves his butter, he loves his cake, this is how he wanted it. But it's very simple, guys. So I hope you like this recipe, and if you try it, come back, let us know how you like it. And again, thank you, Erica, and I'll see you in my next video.
For more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to Connie's Rawsome Kitchen, give it a thumbs up, and share it with your friends.